Well, welcome everyone. I'm so glad you're here. I am streaming live today on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on Facebook. I'm using a new to me platform called StreamYard. So it looks like I'm connected on all three platforms. Excited about that. And hopefully you are able to see and hear me just fine. If you have any issues, please let me know in the comments. Like I said, it's a new to me platform, and if you're on Facebook, I know you need to go to StreamYard.com and give them permission to um, to show your name in the profile. And I may not be telling you that exactly right, but I promise next time I'll have it right. So, okay, if you are new to me, and I am new to you, my name is Beverly Smith. I am the founder of Career Success Strategies, and I have over 2 decades of experience as a recruiter and in the staffing industry. And in my career transition, I have chosen to pivot a little bit, and I'm now working specifically with mid and senior level managers. I'm helping them with their resumes and their job search strategies so that they can land the job and the career of their dreams, and having a blast doing that. So today I am starting this video series, and this is actually my first video on my newly created YouTube channel. Not first time for me to do videos. I did them in my past life as a recruiter and also as a health and running coach. But just in the spirit of that, we're actually today going to talk about getting started and how to jumpstart your job search. Uh, um, if you are beginning to look for a position, and I want to share with you some things there. And here's what I know. And when you begin to start searching for a job, it can be really overwhelming, and a lot of it is just the unknown itself, not knowing exactly what you can expect, and it being a little bit uncomfortable and being a little bit scary. And so it occurred to me, so as I'm working with all my clients, that you as a job seeker may be feeling that that fear, and just almost like paralyzing. And for me, when I was in the recruiting industry, like, it's a very familiar process because I'm dealing with it day in and day out. But I realize that you hopefully are not looking for a job every single day, other than that in that specific time period. And so you're approaching in on the unknown, the things that you're just not sure about. You might be trying to figure out new platforms, or how do I need to brush up my resume, or how do I even begin to find a a job at all? And it can be somewhat overwhelming. It can be a little bit scary. And unless you've been laid off, sometimes it can even paralyze you to the point where you're like, why do I even want to bother? I mean, at least with my current situation, though it may be bad, I know what I'm going to expect on a day in and day out basis. But if I start looking for a job, I don't necessarily know what to expect along the way. And even when I get there, is it even going to be greener on the other side? So I get it. Change is hard. And what I have learned along the line, though, is getting started is half the battle. Inaction breeds inaction. So if you don't do anything, your chances of staying stuck are really, really good. You're not going to be motivated. And it's really interesting. I find that actually starting something brings about the motivation. It's like an oxymoron, actually. I think it's kind of weird, but we've been kind of led to believe that if um, once we get motivated, we can do something. And really and truly, it's the other way around. We got to take some action, and then it's going to motivate us to continue on. I hope that makes sense. But I've got some notes here. So excuse me if I keep looking over the side. I want to make sure I tell you everything. So the other day, I was out running, and I got to really thinking about this. And in full transparency, I'm coming back from a um, uh-oh. I'm coming back from a running injury and having been laid off for a little while. And so every run, the easy runs, things that used to be really short and easy for me, feel like I'm on a struggle bus. And quite honestly, I am not very motivated to get out and run. I mean, I don't want to get up that early, and it just doesn't seem like any fun. And so, but what I found is once I get up and I just make myself go do it, I'm usually so much happier that I did. And it's kind of funny though. Sometimes it's not until after I finish that I'm really like, yay, I'm glad. But it increases my motivation because I know that each single day I get out there and do that, I'm going to build upon that experience. And eventually it's going to be a lot easier for me to run those short, easy runs, and I'll be able to tackle in and bring in some bigger ones and things like that. And I think about too, like for me, I have the luxury of having that as a previous experience. So I do know that, but sometimes it's still hard for me to get motivated because I'm like, oh, I know it's going to hurt. Um, but I also like to think too. So think about like when you go to an amusement park and your significant other or your best friend talks you into riding that ride you swore you were not going to ride, and you're standing in line questioning your own sanity, my own sanity. What am I doing? Why am I getting on this ride? But you make yourself do it, and you go and you enjoy the ride, and it turns out to be fun. And you either go and stand in line and do it again, or you go pick another one that may be equally as scary. But with each time, that unknown kind of starts to dissipate a little bit. And you're feeling a little bit more confident because you took that initial action of going and riding on that ride. And so I think that to bring this all back into job search, um, let's just talk about this for a minute. For most people going through the job search process, it's going to be filled with ups and downs, with highs and lows. I mean, it, there's a lot of unknown that you're facing during that. And it's like, what if I don't get an offer? Or even worse, what if I don't even get interviewed, and how am I ever going to convince a potential employer, that I've got the skills and stuff that I need? So first, let me talk you off the ledge. I get it. Change is scary, and let me validate your concerns. But I also want to caution you too. The mind has a tendency to take your concerns and run away with them and blow them all out of proportion. And here's the thing. It's way more simple than that. You just need to shut the mind up and just start. Absolutely. Just take that first step and start. So you may be thinking, you may be asking, like, okay, Beverly, great. I'm willing to do that, but I don't know exactly what it is that I need to start doing. And let me tell you, that's a great question. And we're going to address that today. We're going to talk about jump starting your job search and what you need to do in order to get going. And what I tell my clients is before you can even start the job search, you have to get completely clear on what it is you want to do. It's kind of like when you go on vacation, when you take a vacation, you can't go anywhere unless you know the destination. And if you don't know where you're going, how will you know when you get there? How will you know how to even plan for your vacation if you don't even know the destination? Well, the same thing is true with job search. You have to know exactly what it is that you want to do. And sometimes, especially if you are maybe making a career transition, you may not really know. You just know it's time for a change. I need to make that change. So, what we're going to talk about over here in the next few minutes is how to do that. And you've got to start by looking within. Got to start by um, really going inside and thinking about how do you want your work to feel? What do you want your day to day work life to be like? How do you want to spend your day? What are those things? And what what I encourage you to do is to get you a pen, get you a notebook, because I've got some journal prompts for you. And this is the best way that you can really get clarity around what you want to do. And I'm going to talk about a little bit why that is so important for you to have that clarity and how that affects your job search going forward. So, the first thing that I want you to journal on is number one, I want you to think about what type of work energizes you or excites you. So, what are the things? So, we all do things in our job that some are mundane and we're like, yeah, I don't really like doing that. And then we have those some tasks that we're like, I could do this all day. And I lose track of time. So think about those things. So are you good with systems? Are you good with technology? What are those things that you just go, I'm really good at this? Write about them. I want you to let it flow. Don't worry. There's no right or wrong answers. Just journal and write and talk about how that makes you feel, why you enjoy it so much, and really go and explore that topic. Secondly, and again, let me check my notes. They're so tiny over here. I got them on my phone, so it's like really little. Um, but anyway, so the second thing I want you to do is I want you to make a list and examine what your strengths and your skills are and your achievements. Think about things that you have accomplished or you've been recognized for and talk about those. Write those down, write what those were, what was the process leading up to that achievement. And also think about your skill sets. Really write down what your skill sets are. And this is one, and your strengths. And with your strengths, this may be something that you want to enlist a very trusted friend or your spouse or significant other, and just really acknowledge what those strengths are. And sometimes it's easier for that other person maybe to point out what our strengths are versus ourselves, but let it flow, write it all down. And then thirdly, I want you to write down what types of things do you often get asked? Do people approach you to do? Or they ask for your input. So I mentioned earlier, you may be good with systems. So maybe you're always the one that gets approached with, hey, can you create a system for this? Can you make a process? Can you help streamline this? Or maybe you're the good spokesperson of the group. So you're always tasked with being the one to stand up and make a presentation. Or maybe you're really creative and you're good with graphics and you're the ones that's tasked with that or organizing the team of other creatives. So think about those things. And just really let it flow, write it down, think about all those things. And what I want to say about these first three that we've covered too is write as much as you can during this one setting, but acknowledge that this is a bit of a process. So you may be driving somewhere, or maybe you're out for a walk and other ideas come to you. And if so, grab your phone, get the notes app out, and make some notes there. Or if you're like me, I always have a little journal in my purse. Grab that journal and write that out. So just acknowledge that what we're doing here by starting this process is we're really getting the brain thinking about what it is you want to do, and just know that other ideas are going to pop up. So the next thing that I want you to do to journal on is I want you to compile a list of potential roles or industries that you believe that you can make a significant contribution. And again, this is for your eyes only, so don't be embarrassed. Let it flow, and just write down anything that comes to mind, because in the next step, I'm going to ask you to take it online, and let's start doing our research. Let's research those roles. Let's research those industries. So you might want to go to a platform like Indeed or on LinkedIn and look up those positions that are open. And don't worry, it doesn't have to be in your particular area, but just look up and start reading the job descriptions and see what resonates with you, see what skill sets they're requiring. And then the other thing you might want to do is to research the industries or companies. And from there, you might look at a platform like LinkedIn or Glassdoor and get really more in depth about those things. But just let all that research kind of sink in and start listing actual companies that you might want to work for, or actual opportunities. Now, you may not actually apply for these positions, but this is very strategic towards you taking the next step, because we're getting clarity around industries you want to work in, companies you might like to pursue. We're getting clarity around the actual role itself. Because here's the deal. If you haven't job searched in a long time, you can no longer just create a resume that lists all the duties of everything you've done over your career and then submit it as you apply for jobs and expect to stand out and get noticed. Because it's hard for recruiters or for hiring managers to connect the dots if you're not targeted. And so by knowing what positions you want to apply for, you can create a resume that is specific to those positions and really shows how your skills transfer, or how you've already had that experience, things you've already accomplished in your career, and really hone in, versus listing what I like to call the career obituary, where it's just a list of your job duties. So this is crucial for you. And from there, you can develop your strategy around what jobs you want to apply for, and where to network and where to start looking for those positions. So I hope that this information has been helpful. And if you've started the process with a resume, you have an existing resume, I urge you to stop and go back and go through this process unless you're crystal clear. And then if you need another set of eyes on your existing resume, or you want to talk about your career and that path, I offer a free consultation to anyone that lasts about 35 or 45 minutes, and I will review your resume. We'll discuss your career and what your progression has been, where you think you want to go. We'll talk about job search strategies, and then we can decide if we're even a fit to work together. So if you want to do that, I ask that you leave a comment below, or you can email me at beverly@cssar.com, and I'll put that in the comments so that it's there for you. And you can email me and we'll set up a time. I do those calls by Zoom and love to do them. They're a lot of fun. The other thing is, if this video was helpful, make sure that you like it. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and click that bell so you get the notifications. And also, leave me a comment. Let me know what you found is really helpful to you. And I will be back every week, every Tuesday. So you can expect to come back every week, and you'll get notified if you like my YouTube channel. So anyway, I hope this is helpful, and I look forward to speaking with you soon, and I will see you in my next video.